It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, and welcome to the Max Sports. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for To the Max Sports.
It is time for To the Max Sports.
It is. I brought my friend here, One-Eyed Jack. Say hello to One-Eyed Jack, everybody.
Is he a playing card?
No. He's gonna do the lock of the week. I keep winning on my lock of the weeks. But
the question I have, did he lose his eye because he got a bet wrong and crossed a bookie?
He didn't pay a bet, and eye for eye. But he's back. He's solvent now, and he's ready to give the lock of the week.
Okay.
So I told him, you got to do this responsibly.
Responsibly.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, how do you bet responsibly in a state where online sports betting is illegal?
Well, you just it's cooler. It's what I call cooler talk bet. It's like when you're at work and you're like, I'm going to take the Cowboys this week, and okay, I'll bet you a lunch. Not money.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, it has. I'm getting a little side buzzing still.
I'm still getting the side buzzing, but we're just going to go forward.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tender this offer to anyone who's listening on the radio or watching. Everything we do here is, we don't have an R&D department. We just talk off the cuff. And if I give you some information that you were not aware of during this podcast, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. If you've already done that, then tell a friend to check us out. Fair enough?
Okay.
And if someone writes Bob a note and says, you didn't give me any information I don't already know, then I will send Bob over to your house to do some light housekeeping.
Well, no, we tell everyone, if you like us, give us a comment. If you don't like us, in the immortal words of Roy Kent, fuck off.
So let's go over some stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
We're going to talk about football. We got a busy pod. We're going to wrap it all up in 30 minutes.
We're going to try.
We're going to talk football. We're going to talk basketball, baseball, college rankings have come out. Let's start off with our football first, Bob. We both went 2-2. You went against me on my lock. Stick around, guys. I have another lock for you. I'm like 8-0 this year. Not on our primetime picks because we can't bet every football game. We could. But take up an entire pod.
Yeah.
But I am going to give you my mortal lock this week, and I'm going to call it my full Nelson, and then I've got a half Nelson for you. I also like this week.
So we're going full in on wrestling metaphors.
We're going full in on wrestling metaphors. Hey Bob, busy week in football. My Bengals looked very, very good against your Niners. What's up with that?
Your Bengals did. We have some issues on the defensive side of the ball. We didn't put enough pressure on Joey Burrow.
That may have been addressed. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, no, Chase Young, who looks like he has some problems with Washington, and Washington looks like they may have unloaded some stuff. So that was nice. And quite frankly, I am a little troubled by Brock Purdy. And I think the problem with Brock Purdy is all of us. I don't think the problem with Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy. I think the problem with Brock Purdy is all of us. We have elevated him to Hall of Fame status. We have said he is an elite quarterback. We have said he is great, and he has let it go to his head, and he is making bad decisions.
Well, who's we?
Everyone outside of the 49ers.
I never said that because I've said it time and time again. Shanahan develops a system where you can insert quarterback, and I've always said they don't ask Brock to win games, just don't lose them. Now, I don't think he's the entire reason that they're playing lost the last 3 games. I watched him. There's still some good things about this kid. He still will get you 40, 50 yards on the ground if he needs to. He still has nice passes upfield.
But he's making bad passing decisions.
But there was a fumble. That wasn't his fault. He was a blindside hit. Anybody would have fumbled that.
Interception in the red zone was his fault. He was forcing the ball.
That was kind of a weird, ugly play. Yes, he should have thrown it away, but I can almost give him a break on that. What I can is the triple coverage interception, But at the end of the day, I think you guys are going to be okay. I think that getting Chase Young is huge. I mean, and we're going to talk about that too, because
Brock, if you're subscribed to this show, stop listening to all of us. Stop listening to every pundit that says you're the second coming of Tom Brady. Just be you. You were great when you were just being you. Just be you. And the 49ers will be fine.
yes, I totally agree.
And we're gonna get Debo back. We're gonna get Trent Williams healthy. Christian McCaffrey will get 2 weeks of rest. And then we get Chase Young. No, I think the rest of the season is going to be good. On that note,
okay,
I'm going to add a pick every week from here on out. I'm going to pick the 49ers every week as part of my picks.
Okay, well, if people want to just go on a homer bet, but I don't do homer bets. I will bet against my Bengals if I have to.
Nope,
but I have got a mortal lock this week.
Who's your mortal lock?
I'll tell you in a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
We call that a radio tease.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Now, on the flip side, my Bengals, everyone knows I'm a diehard Bengals fan. Let's not overreact, kids. I mean, Burrows is back, okay? I saw some things from Burrows I haven't seen. Obviously, the week off the bye really helped him. The difference was he was tucking and running. I held my breath every time. But he was tucking and running the ball. He wasn't collapsing in the pocket. And when the pocket collapsed around him, he took off and got 10 or 12 yards. Now I have all these pundits on TV. The Bengals are Super Bowl bound. They're this team, they're that. Okay, let's slow the roll, kids. First of all, the Bengals may not even win the division. Right now, I got to hope they get in the wild card. And a lot of good things have to happen for them just to be a wild card team. Okay?
Okay.
They are 4-3. Second of all, they didn't address some glaring needs, particularly the one that disturbed me the most was during the trade deadline, not getting a NFL-ready tight end. Their tight end, what they got now in Irv Smith, they ain't going to cut it, man. This guy's fumbled. He's dropping passes. He's got like 100 yards receiving for the year. And there were plenty of players. All we need in a tight end, all most NFL teams need in a tight end. They're not going to find a Kelsey every time. But give me a guy that will give you 35 catches a year, 35 to 40, okay? Give you 500 yards receiving and not turn the ball over. That's what most NFL teams want from a tight end. Yeah. And we had the opportunity to pick up a few that were available out there or make some phone calls, and it didn't happen. So while teams like San Francisco are addressing needs, while teams like Buffalo are addressing needs at the trade deadline, my Bengals stand pat. And, it's just, man, you got to go out there, and if you're serious about contending, identify a glaring weakness and take care of it. And the Bengals didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm really of the contention that if a lot of things don't fall in place, they may not even make the playoffs as a wild card. What's an interesting stat is this year they are 4-0 against the NFC, 0-3 against the AFC. And at some point, wild card time, that could come back to bite them in the ass.
I am reminded of someone saying something months ago about the toughest team in the toughest division in the NFL being the AFC North. I'm trying to remember who that gentleman was. Oh, that's right. It was me.
That was you. But I still think the division, well, I think we decided to disagree and we went with who would have the most total wins in each division at the end of the year. So we'll see where we stand on that.
The Ravens are looking good. The Dolphins are on the road in Germany playing the Chiefs.
That may be one of my Half Nelson picks. Stick around,
That's
kids.
going to be a neat one. So, okay.
It's a good way to start Sunday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So
the Buffalo addressed one of their needs. They got a defensive back who's a great player. Was with Green Bay. He wanted out. Obviously, they're not going anywhere. The Raiders may have supplanted the Chicago Bears with the most dysfunctional front office team in football right now.
Well,
they finally got the McDaniels experiment. Am I saying it right, Josh McDaniels?
Yep.
Again, he's another failed bit, fired again after the second season.
If you are a GM or an owner in the NFL and you decide to hire anyone who's been an assistant under Bill Belichick, perhaps go and get your brain checked.
it doesn't seem to work out. Although I think that their replacement guy, their interim guy,
The linebackers coach, Price,
was
Prince,
was a coach under Belichick.
Well, we're going to see how that works out then.
Yeah, they had that guy last year, who brought him, put him in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. No, it was 2 years ago. Yeah. And after the Gruden stuff, he took over and really turned that team around.
But they didn't like that. So
yeah,
he's staying with his daddy. Some guys just can't get away from dad, and the Davis Run organization seems to be in permanent chaotic mode. Yeah. It obviously looks now like with the Washington Commanders, Ron Revere's not going to be around at the end of the year unless something unbelievable happens. It looks like they made a decision to move on, blow up the team, and take it from there.
I don't know. I mean, Howell seems to be a serviceable quarterback. They're outperforming my expectations of them, and the new owner has said very frankly, I'm going to let stuff stand and see what happens at the end of the year, and then make decisions. Which to all his credit, he is doing what every new owner of any organization should.
Well, I think he's going to ride with Revere, but obviously, can we both agree that the strongest asset of the Washington Redskins was their defense?
Mm-hmm.
And you take away their two best players, Sweat and Chase Young, and move them?
There's some question about Chase Young being in the Washington organization being an undisciplined player. That's kind of the reports coming out, that he was undisciplined, that they moved on from him because he maybe didn't fit the locker room.
Okay, well, maybe he'll fit right in with the Raiders, where most dysfunctional players seem to land at some point. The Raiders, at the end of the day, they've got the pieces. You've got a quarterback, Garoppolo, for the most part, a savvy, win-ready quarterback when he can stay on the field. You got Devontae Adams. You got Josh Jacobs. You've got pieces for this team to be capable.
Do you have Devontae Adams, or is he just there?
Well, at this point, I'm just saying you have him. So now the part is winning him over, and hopefully this new coach will do what that kid from the Titans did, the college kid who sat in the draft board room sweating bullets.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, the kid. Will Levis.
Oh, Levis.
Threw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll do what Levis did and said, you know what, I'm going to throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. I got a future Hall of Famer here, and I'm going to get him the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Okay, let's get off the NFL a little bit.
Well, can we? There's still a lot to talk about.
Okay.
I mean, this is a busy injuries. Our boy Kirk Cousins, that was kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a bummer. Because
I don't wish bad injuries on players, even when I've called into question their competitive relevance.
I've never called into question his competitive relevance. If you look at his stats, he's leading the NFL in some categories. I mean, the guy's putting up prolific numbers. It's kind of sad it was his contract year. What I question is his late game time decisions and the mistakes he made when the games are on the line.
I don't question his late game time decisions. I've just accepted the fact that he's going to break fans' hearts in the fourth quarter. And all that to say, Mr. Cousins, please, speedy recovery. I hope you and your family are doing great and you're doing okay and you're getting the medical attention you deserve. However, you're going to break a fan's heart when you come back. As opposed to Aaron Rodgers, who looks like he's ready to come back next week.
Yeah. What do you want to, we are on football. I hate to bounce around. Do we want to give our picks for prime time?
Yeah, let's go.
I'll get through my mortal blocks. Then stick around. We're going to talk about the college rankings that came out, and I got a beef with it.
Do you really?
I do. And my Buckeyes are number 1, and I still have a beef. Maybe it's because they're number 1. Got some baseball news. Looks like the Rangers. We'll talk about that, and stick around for some basketball stuff.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about? So, games. We got games up on the screen. Thursday night, Pittsburgh, favored by 2.5, hosting the Titans. You can't see this, can you?
Yeah, you can take it down.
Okay.
That's fine. Titans, where are they playing, on the road?
They're playing in Pittsburgh.
I think the Titans defense will force, doesn't look like Pickett's going to play. Man, Levis came out really strong. He's got D-Hop. What's the line?
2.5. Pittsburgh 2.5.
You know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say that I don't like rookies on the road, but give me Titans.
I'm going to roll with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin doing Mike Tomlin things. There is absolutely no reason why this Steelers team is 4-3. No reason whatsoever, except maybe Mike Tomlin. I'm going to roll with Mike Tomlin. Give me the Steelers. I'm going to dump the points.
All right.
Okay.
Next game.
Do we want to pick the Germany game?
Actually, yeah, because that's one of my half Nelson picks.
Okay. So we have Dolphins, quote unquote, on the road against the Chiefs. Chiefs are only favored by 2.5 after a bad loss for the Chiefs. Chiefs didn't look good. Now, some of that may be due to Mahomes being, stricken with the flu, but they did not look good against what is arguably not a very good team. So what do you want to do with this game?
You tell me, Bob. Who do you like?
It's a small number, but I am a full dues paying member of 2 and on. So give me the Dolphins and I'll take the 2.5.
Okay. This is not my full Nelson. This is my half Nelson lock. But not my mortal lock, kids. Just remember that. Yeah, I like Miami. I like the fact they played at home. They have 2 less time zones to travel through. I like the fact what I don't like about Miami is they're beating up on bad teams, but against good teams, they're not doing well this year. That's concerning to me. I think getting that win at home, having probably an extra nights of good night's sleep on the travel leg. Yeah, I'll take Miami.
Okay, there we go.
And that is my half Nelson.
That's your half Nelson.
Half lock of the week. I like Miami to cover 2.5, as does Bob.
Here's what I don't understand. We have the Cowboys, and the Cowboys-Eagles is not the primetime game, and this is what I don't understand. You have the Cowboys and Eagles playing, and they're both doing really, really well this season, and NBC didn't flex into that game for the ratings.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. Who is the Sunday night game?
The Buffalo Bills on the road at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are favored by a mere 2.5, which, again, surprises me because when the Bills play to their potential, are a really good football team, but it's like, which Bills team is going to show up and leave the locker room? For me.
Yeah. I hate to say it because it always feels like every week it's a must-win for the Bengals. And Buffalo went out and addressed some defensive back needs. At home, no snow. Oh, man. I hate to do this, Cincy, but because I never bet a team I'm emotionally attached to, but since it is a primetime game, I love Lou Anarumo, Cincinnati-led defense. He'll probably get a head coaching job next year. But having said that, begrudgingly, I'll go ahead and take Buffalo in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go Buffalo on this one. I think they're on a little bit of a roll. That division is going to run away between them and the Dolphins, and so they need to keep pace.
Yeah,
so,
that puts the Bengals in seriously compromised position of making the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a hard one. And then we move to the Monday night, a game which I, wish we could flex out of and watch a old Disney movie. Instead of this. The Chargers on the road going west to east to the Jets. To the Jets, who won an extremely ugly game against the Giants.
Yeah.
That was not football. That was something else.
Just because the Jets continue to have zero offensive productivity, and I said the defense will win you a lot of games this year for the Jets, but at the end of the day, they can't win every single game. How many points are the Chargers getting?
Chargers are only giving 3. Now, the Jets are at home, so that's a little bit of it, but the Chargers are giving 3.
Give me Charger.
There is absolutely no reason whatsoever I should choose the Jets.
True, but you are.
But I think I'm going to pick the Jets.
Good. It'll give me a little separation.
I don't. The Jets just do weird Jet things. So either this game is close, and they screw it up at the end, which the points will help, or they get blown out. They very well get blown out. Okay, what's up with One-Eye Jack? Does he agree with me?
He's laughing at you.
Okay, he can laugh at me all he wants.
See his smile. He's like, what?
He can laugh at me all he wants.
So me and One-Eye Jack talked about it. My mortal lock of the week is, you still got it? Yeah. Okay. All right, we're all in. He still likes it too. Give me Tampa Bay plus 2.5 on the road against Houston.
Oh my God. You know what I'm looking forward
That's what
to?
Jack said.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm looking forward to in that first slate of games, watching Red Zone on Sunday?
You totally ignored my lock of the week.
No.
Focus.
No, I know. What I'm getting to it. What I'm going to totally enjoy watching Red Zone is not seeing this game on the Red Zone.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a game that I'm must view television, but Tampa's got no running game, but I think they have enough to. Yeah, I like the 2.5. Tampa seems like the kind of team that can make some kind of a weird run, and sneak in as a wild card. Maybe even in that division, maybe even freaking win it. I mean, that's wide open. You got the Falcons, you got New Orleans, you got Tampa Bay.
It's the NFC South.
Yeah.
The South divisions suck.
Yeah, I wish the Bengals were in the South division.
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
so that's our football. That's your mortal lock of the week. Do with it what you want. Baseball. Well, we called it. We said
Rangers are rolling.
5 games. Yeah,
I said
I
said gentleman's sweep, which isn't really a gentleman's sweep when you dump the first game. But I was worried about the Rangers last night. I mean, I saw Scherzer go out. I saw Garcia go out. I saw them burn their Game 4 starter. I was worried for Game 4 for the Rangers, and they just the kid that replaced Garcia just went off.
Yeah.
2 5-run innings in a row.
Yeah.
With 2 outs.
And then Corey Bob Seager. I mean, this guy's a shortstop. This ain't your daddy's shortstop, man. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and your shortstop usually weighed about $150 and couldn't hit his way out of a wet paper bag. And
well,
this guy
yeah,
just
and they lived up to the position's title. They were generally short.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
And that double play he had in Game 3, going to his left and shoveling it backwards.
Yeah.
My God, that ended that inning. That was, God, it's
very talented. I think they bring in Nathan Eovaldi, who I've always loved. Remember watching him at Tampa Bay. I think he spent some time in New York. Good veteran pitcher. They probably close it out tonight.
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. Diamondbacks are going to have to do a lot, so they may burn themselves out winning this game.
That Diamondback game, that's a classic example of a manager over-managing and just, he pulls the starting pitcher after 2 innings. It's just going into your bullpen that deep.
Well,
it just, the shit they do just doesn't make any sense to me, man.
It was going to be a bullpen game for them anyway. I mean, it was going to be a bullpen game.
I know, but 2 innings, I mean, come on.
I mean, that was the thing for them. It was, okay, I'm going to give one pitcher through the rotation, then the next pitcher through the rotation, and a different pitcher for every rotation. The problem is when you give up 5 runs, you go through a rotation in an inning.
That's like rotating college quarterbacks, man. It just never seems to work.
Yeah. So, give me I don't know if the Rangers are going to win it tonight or close it out in Game 6, but it would be – I'd like to be right, so hopefully they close it out tonight.
Yeah, I believe they will. Hey, Bob, did you watch our Spurs?
I actually did watch some of that game. My God. My God. That one, there were so many things, so many highlights for Victor from last night. It was almost he was a top 10 on SportsCenter all by himself.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That block where he was flat-footed and he just reached out with his arm and go, boop.
Then he had the play where he went in for the slam, switched hands, and went in with his left hand.
God, he broke Kevin Durant's ankles.
Yeah, I mean, this he's going to be special. Can you imagine when he adds about 25 pounds of muscle? I mean, he's doing some freakish, outlandish things. What I liked about the Spurs, though, is they were down 20 at one point on the road against a team who many have picked to win the title this year. You know, they hung in there. They stayed with the program, and it's just a cool win, man. And they're a fun team to watch, fun young team.
Yeah, it's good. They're good. It's a good group. This is not the roster that we're going to have going forward after this year, as we start to make a title run. But it's a good squad to work out.
Yeah.
What's the best position for Victor to be in?
Yeah, and you can see where we're missing Pirtle, because Zach Collins, he's getting used and abused like he just walked into the walls of a prison, man. I mean, a lot of guys like him, but he's getting played, man, and beat up and used. And I'm not a fan.
Okay.
But we got to address some kind of a center need. I don't like the Jeremy Socon point guard experiment. Give me a little more Trey Jones out there. But, you know, for people who are not San Antonio followers, this is probably not interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
But you're going to watch them this year because they have them on a lot of primetime venues.
18 out of their 82 are in prime time. And I think Popovich is generally, it feels like this is, you talk about experiment, the Sohan experiment at point guard. I think a lot of what's going to happen this season is experimenting and just kind of throwing shit out there and seeing what sticks to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Pop this year is worried about W's and L's as much as, hey, let me see what I got to build this team around. You know, what do I got to do to make this team better? He's got two key pieces, obviously, Vassell and Wembanyama. Those are your center people. Vassell's doing. I mean, that kid he's just a great ball player. He's a ball. He's what we call a baller.
Going before that game, I looked it up. Over under for wins for the Spurs was 27.5.
They'll beat that.
And I do think they're going to beat that. I don't think they're going to beat it by that much. I think they're a low 30s team when it's all said and done.
I think I actually had them at 35-40. But
and that's a little optimistic.
How many wins they got this year so far?
2.
2 out of what?
3.
Yeah. I mean, hey, let's do that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's against everybody staying healthy.
Yeah.
But they're a fun team to watch. Yep. If you haven't seen this kid, third game in the season, I've already seen things each game watching him that I haven't seen in the NBA before.
And news around town is this is a really good man, a good human being.
Yeah.
This is the best organization for him to be in.
Yeah. I mean, just the luck of us falling in and getting this kid. I mean, it's just amazing.
So, okay. I think you probably have a topic that you want to talk about as we turn to maybe college football and kind of beat me over the head with it. Do you?
Well, what would I beat you over the head with?
I don't know. The FBI investigation at Michigan,
Well, I mean, we can talk about that, but actually I was going to talk about the rankings. Do you have the new rankings that came out?
I don't have them, but I know them.
You know them?
Yeah, Ohio State's on top, so good for you.
No, I don't like that.
Okay.
One, you can't go anywhere else up but down from the top, and they are not they're not the number one team in college football. I don't trust this quarterback. I just don't trust him.
For the committee, you have 2 quality wins. And you've had the hardest strength of schedule.
Define a quality win.
Against 2 ranked opponents.
Let us beat an SEC team, and then I'll call that a quality win. Let us beat Missouri.
Okay,
Let us beat Mississippi State. Let us beat
Michigan.
Let us beat Michigan.
You're going to have to go through Michigan, and Michigan's going to have to go through you. I mean, Georgia hasn't had a quality win. I mean, they've won, Michigan's rolling over, schools like St. Mary's School for the Deaf and Dumb.
Yeah, I still will say that the SEC, top to bottom, is a better conference each week in and out playing those teams if you're in that conference in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real.
And then, so you have Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State.
I don't necessarily disagree with the top four. I disagree with the rankings. I would still go, just because of based on what they did last year, and they haven't lost this year, Georgia's number one. Would you agree with that? Michigan's number two. Ohio State's three, and Florida State is four.
Okay, you're just parroting the AP top 25.
I didn't know that. I'm just parodying just trying to keep it real.
Yeah, and then, Washington, Oregon, so the Pac-12 has something still in there.
Yeah.
Texas is lurking out there at 7.
You know who's making a late move, which I've always said, lose early if you're going to lose. What's Alabama at now?
8.
They've snuck down to 8.
Win the SEC title.
We were counting them out a month ago.
Everyone's saying that Nick Saban was done.
But when you lose early, I mean, this Michigan-Ohio State game is looming ever so large now, and that's a great game. That's the Thanksgiving weekend game, man.
Yeah, and
I love it.
What's interesting is here you have 2 teams from the Pac-12, you have 2 teams from the Big Ten, and you have 3 teams from the SEC in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, other than the Pac-12, who I think is going to show up to be a shell of themselves.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's a
Status
good balance.
quo. Status quo.
Good balance. The rumor had, since you want to talk about Michigan, yeah, they got some issues. This is probably Harbaugh's last year.
Have you seen the video of the Central Michigan game where they're purporting that Stallions was disguised on the sidelines wearing actual credentials at a night game, wearing sunglasses, and they think it was Staniels? I mean, this is
still the best porn name, Connor Stallions.
This is
what a great porn name.
This is getting to like JFK gunman on the grassy knoll territory.
But it's just like with Houston, the Astros scandal, the Brady Deflategate scandal. This kind of stuff's just not necessary. And at the end of the day, it's going to turn into kind of the Parrot Watergate. What did Harbaugh know, and when did he know it? Now he may have done the Iran-Contra thing where Reagan was kind of like, hey, do what you got to do. I just don't want to know about it.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
So there may be some plausible deniability, but at the end of the day, it's going to fall down on your head coach. I think rumor has it, why not the Raiders for Harbaugh? Al Davis likes offensive mind. I'm not Al Davis. Mark Davis likes offensive-minded coaches. Another guy who's trying to resurrect whatever's going to be left of this.
Yeah, there's no way that this investigation is done before the end of the season. The NCAA changed its rules with regards to head coaches and what they can be held responsible for. They actually have to have knowledge. It's no longer a captain goes down with his ship no matter what happened.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting as to what did he know and when did he know it. And I think you're right. And that's the one thing that impresses me. It's like you're scouting at a Central Michigan football game.
Yeah, that's kind of grassy knoll stuff. Now, I know that he was scouting any teams they would potentially play in a college playoff, and of course, any of the Big Ten teams that were relevant that they were going up against. But, hey, I mean, if you're sending me off to watch games for free and kind of be the the undercover brother, then okay, I'll go.
Yeah, it's just it's the whole thing of trying to steal signs and all that other stuff that troubles me. Not the going to the games. I mean, my God, I was actually surprised that some of that's actually illegal.
Well, everyone goes to games.
Yeah. How can it not be? Anyway.
No, everyone's got a scout in the stands. I mean, that's it's when you start recording it.
Or
sign
stealing credentials, falsifying credentials. If that really was the, soon to be a porn star Connor Stallions on the sidelines of that game with stolen or ill-gotten credentials, that's actually bad.
Yeah,
that's really bad.
Yeah, that's not good. I will say, you go back to that Ohio State game last year against Michigan, I will say it looked like they knew everything we were doing on offense because they beat us like a drum and read, now there's going to be the, how long has this been going on? But I read something about where some of the teams knew about it and were actually doing some reverse ops and putting out fake signs but who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see where it goes, Bob. Anything else before you wrap up the show?
No, I think we're pretty good, man.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you listen to the entire podcast, please hit that like and subscribe button. Again, Bob will come over and do some light housekeeping, leave a note if I didn't tell you anything new. But I think I did. I don't think a lot of people knew the Bengals were 4-0 against the NFC and 0-3 against the NFC, but soon to be 0-4, I think, unfortunately.
And I didn't know that I hated everyone for putting too much expectations on Brock Purdy.
Don't be too hard on yourself, Bob. I didn't. He's a good kid. The 49ers will be okay.
Sounds good, man.
Until next week. OH.
Peace out.